Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Real Talk Podcast. Today, we're starting a brand new series called Simple Conversation Scenarios. In each episode, we'll show you how to have short, everyday conversations, perfect for travelers, students, or anyone looking to improve their speaking skills. Today's topic, how to introduce yourself in English. Let's jump right into the conversation.
Today, we're jumping into something everyone needs, especially when navigating new places or meeting new people, how to introduce yourself in English.
Exactly. And we've looked at some great source materials for this, really aimed at beginners. They cover the essentials, dialogues, keywords, even some cultural bits.
That's right. So our mission here is basically to sift through all that, pull out the most useful stuff for you, the listener, so you can feel, more confident making those first introductions.
Yeah, we'll look at different situations, the practical phrases you actually need.
Okay, so first steps. Where do we begin? Seems like greetings are the obvious starting point.
Absolutely. The sources kick off with the real basics. Hello, hi, and then the ones that depend on the time of day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Can't really go wrong there.
Pretty straightforward. And then saying your name. The materials give us, my name is A, and also I'm M, is one, better than the other.
Well, tends to feel a bit more casual, maybe. My name can sound slightly more formal. But honestly, in most day-to-day chats, both are totally fine.
Okay. So use whichever feels comfortable.
Pretty much. They're both universally understood, which is the main thing.
Right. And after names are exchanged, you need that polite follow-up. Nice to meet you, or pleased to meet you. Any real difference there in practice?
Pleased to meet you can sound a touch more formal, maybe a bit more traditional. But nice to meet you is just solid. Friendly, polite, works almost every time. It's your go-to.
Got it. The sources also, quite rightly, I think, really stress pronunciation from the get-go. They suggest saying phrases slowly than normally and getting you to repeat.
Yeah, and that repetition is so important, isn't it? It's about hearing it, getting the rhythm, and then trying it yourself. It helps lock it in.
Builds that muscle memory.
Exactly. You wonder how many learners know the words but just hesitate to actually say them out loud.
Probably happens a lot. Hopefully breaking it down like this makes it feel a bit less intimidating.
Okay, so let's look at that simple dialogue example they give Sarah and David. How does that put these basics into action?
It's a neat little exchange. You hear the hello, the hi, my name is Sarah, nice to meet you. It flows right into finding out more, like asking, where are you from?
Yeah, Sarah says, Canada? David mentions Spain. And Sarah replies, oh, Spain is beautiful. Do you live here now? It shows that natural little step beyond just names.
Right. One question leads to another. Even in that super simple back and forth, you see the start of a connection. Names, little shared comment about Spain, a follow-up question. It's how conversations start to build, really.
And I noticed the source mentions replaying it slowly for practice. That seems like a really practical feature for learners. Definitely. Hearing it slowed down helps catch every sound. So moving on from those initial greetings, what about the questions? What are the key ones for introductions? The sources highlight a core set. You've got, what's your name, obviously, then where are you from, where you live, and what do you do? Those are kind of your basic info-gathering tools.
And they give simple answers, too, which is helpful, like a starter kit. They also add questions like, do you like it here, and how long have you lived here? Where do those fit in?
Those are great for just, extending things a bit. If someone says where they live, asking, do you like it here, shows you're actually interested.
Right, it's not just ticking boxes.
Exactly.
Go.
And how long have you lived here gives more context, maybe opens up a new topic about their experiences.
It shows how conversations can naturally branch out. Okay, so we've got greetings, names, basic questions. What about keeping it going? Any phrases for that?
Yeah, the materials list some useful little connectors. Things like, that sounds interesting, or really, tell me more. Also, I see, that's nice, even just me too, if something clicks.
Really? Tell me more. That's quite direct, isn't it? A clear invitation.
It is. It shows you're genuinely curious.
Yeah.
And me too is great for finding common ground instantly. It builds rapport.
So we've covered the basic, maybe more informal stuff, but introductions happen in formal settings too, right? Like job interviews.
Absolutely. The sources contrast that Sarah and David chat with a more formal one, Anna Smith and Jack Turner, and you see the language shift.
How so?
Well, it's good afternoon instead of hi. It's likewise instead of nice to meet you too.
Ah.
And the question becomes, what line of work are you in, rather than just, what do you do?
Ah. Okay, so it's more buttoned up, slightly different vocabulary.
Exactly. The purpose is the same. Introduce yourself, share some info, but the way you say it changes with the context. It's subtle, but important for the impression you make.
Makes sense. You adjust your language. Now, pronunciation again. The sources mention things like, nice to meet you, often sounding like, nice to meet you. Why point that out?
Because that's how people often actually speak. Understanding that connected speech, how sounds link or get reduced, helps you understand native speakers better when they talk quickly.
Like the two almost vanishing.
Yeah, exactly. It helps you tune your ear and potentially sound a bit more natural yourself if you want to.
They also mention what's your name, becoming what's your name,
Yeah.
casually.
Another example of relaxed, fast speech versus the proper written form. Good to be aware of so it doesn't throw you off if you hear it.
And specific job titles too, like software developer or English teacher. Practicing those clearly.
Makes sense, right? If that's your job, you'll say it often. Getting those key terms clear boosts confidence, especially professionally.
Okay, shifting gears slightly beyond just the words, what about cultural tips for introductions? The sources touch on this too.
Yeah, some important nonverbal stuff, like smiling, generally a good idea. A handshake is common in many English-speaking places. Eye contact, too, though that varies culturally, so, be mindful.
Good point about cultural variations. What else?
Speaking clearly, not too fast. That's just considerate, especially if the other person might also be learning English.
Right. And the last one seems really key. It's okay to ask someone to repeat themselves.
Oh, totally. Saying, "Could you repeat that, please?" is absolutely fine. Much better than nodding along when you haven't understood a word. Don't feel embarrassed.
That really lowers the pressure. So finally, there's that full conversation example, Alex and Maria. How does that tie everything together?
It shows a more natural flow using lots of the elements we've talked about. Greetings, names, where they're from Brazil and the U.S. in this case, their roles, English teacher, student.
And it goes a bit further, doesn't it? They talk about how long Maria's been learning English.
Exactly. It shows how you move from just stating facts, name, origin, job, to actually engaging.
Yeah.
Alex asks about her learning, shows interest. That's the next step after the basic intro.
Building that bit of connection.
That's it, moving beyond the script.
Okay, so to kind of wrap things up, we've covered the essential greetings, ways to state your name, polite responses, basic questions, phrases to keep chatting, formal versus informal nuances, pronunciation points, and cultural tips. It seems like getting comfortable with these fundamentals is the real key.
It absolutely is. Mastering these simple steps really builds that foundation. It gives you the confidence to handle those initial moments in all sorts of situations, which then lets you build towards more interesting conversations.
Definitely. So here's something to think about. That simple act of introducing yourself, it's really the first move towards connection, isn't it? Towards communication. It's what can open doors to new people, new ideas, maybe new opportunities. What do you hope to communicate when you first meet someone? What impression do you want to make beyond just your name? It's worth considering what that initial exchange really signifies.
So that's how you introduce yourself in English, in just a few simple steps. Whether you're traveling, starting a new job, or meeting friends, these phrases will help you feel confident and prepared. Now it's your turn. Comment below and tell us, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode. See you next time.